アルビオレ先生の仇を討つためにも僕は負けられない。
なるほど、美しい師弟愛というところか。だが仇討ちどころか返り討ちになるのが関の山だ。
何を？行くぞレミランチャ
ー少子な、こんなチェーンなど私の前で何の役に立つ。
Hey there everyone, Dreamsword here, back with my monthly action figure review of figures that no one else has really looked at. Today we're looking at another Saint Seiya figure by Tamashii Nations, or Bandai Spirits as they're now called. This time it is the Saint Clothmyth EX Pisces Aphrodite Surplice version. So yeah, Aphrodite being my favorite Gold Knight from Knights of the Zodiac, and I specifically got his Surplice version for a reason I'll go into later. But like right now, let's just look at the box real quick. All right, so on the front here, you know, we've got the name of the figure, all that, the branding, etc., etc. Tamashii Nations quality sticker right there. Bottoms, just a bunch of, you know, stuff, info, general buyer information. Side here, we got Aphrodite in a really cool pose. Other side, we have his Surplice, all assembled into its little statue form. Ah, hit my background. Top, logo. And finally, on the back, we have a promo image of him, the Surplice version of Cancer Death Mask, and the mysterious leader of Hades Spectres, as well as different face sculpts the figure has, and also, yet again, the cloth, or Surplice in this case, all assembled into its Pisces mode there. So yeah, pretty cool looking box. This one does not look like a Pandora's box like the Shun one did, but I think it looks very pretty. It definitely would, I think, catch the eyes of a few collectors, even if they didn't know what Knights of the Zodiac was. So, pretty cool. So, yeah, now let's get this guy out the box and take a closer look at him. Alright, here Aphrodite is right outside the packaging, and as you can probably tell, he doesn't really have as natural of the human proportions that Shun did. I don't know what anatomy this is supposed to be, but it's all kinds of messed up. Now, I understand that a lot of the reason probably has to do with the design of the Pisces cloth itself. But yeah, these are not very realistic proportions. Unlike Shun, where I would totally display him unsuited, Aphrodite not so much. Especially since to me the cloth itself is like the main draw. But that said, the face sculpt is like perfect. Same with the hair. Fan-frickin-tastic job there, guys. But yeah, just get you like with Shun again, you can see all the little holes on him and whatnot. So that way you can attach his cloth, and he's got the, at least I think these are die-cast feet. Still no undersuited feet to be expected. Still the regular fist though. Weirdly, you think they would just nix the if they're not going to care about the feet, you think they would nix the unarmored hands too, and just like either A, save money on that, or B, just give us another set of armored hands maybe, or another effect piece or something. I don't know, but yeah. So we're gonna do this one. It's kind of similar to the Shun review. It's going to basically be like two separate reviews in one, but like, I'm going to do things slightly, slightly different for this one. So, let's go ahead and run through the articulation on the, I guess, unarmored, you would say, part of him, in case you're curious. See how good the base articulation is. So, here on the head, you have to keep in mind he's got this long hair, so it's going to hinder him a bit. So he can look up, a little bit upwards, not too much. He can look pretty much all the way down though. The lower part of the hair here is a separate piece, as you can probably see, so you can move it up and down. You can swivel it around a little bit. Has a little bit of ebb and flow to it. Not a whole lot, but I think enough. Here on the shoulders you have a little tiny ball piece right here, so you can rotate it around all the way. You can rotate the arms 360, And yeah, it does work as like a butterfly joint, so if you want him to crisscross his arms, you can totally do that. Raising the arms, just a little bit better than horizontal. Not as good as Shun, unfortunately, but good enough. You have your true bicep swivel there. Swivels all around fine. Double jointed elbows, which don't look great, but yeah, you can see, I mean, they're functional, but anyway. Ball hinge wrist, so you can hinge them up and down, rotate them around, and you can rotate the hinge as well if you want to get specific little poses out of the wrists there. Let's put you back to natural. He's got this upper torso joint right here that's way high up in his pectorals. You can bend it back and forward just a little. Not a huge amount. You can't do side to side. Well, you can, but it springs back immediately, so it's obviously not meant to do that. You have a waist twist right here. And there's no forward and back at the waist. So any crunching, bare minimal, it's going to be all that upper pectoral. And now for these hips, again, these are kind of like the old school Kamen Rider hips, so he can do the splits. Like, look at that, really good range. You can see the ball joints, but like, I don't think anyone's going to do an upskirt shot of him, so yeah. Boom, he can Jean-Claude Van Damme it, no problem. Upper thigh swivel, I remembered to freaking mention it for once. Oh, did forget to mention though that you can move these around. Not by a whole lot, because, you know, the upper part of his head is clamping onto the joint they have up there, but like, you can get some action-y stuff out of it, I suppose. Flay it out like that, maybe, I don't know, and it's up to you. But anyway, yeah, back to back to what we were saying. Anyway, he can kick 90 degrees, pretty good, and going back about 45-ish degrees. Double jointed knees work really well, bend all the way back, full curl. You have a swivel right above the boot, not at the boot. That's weird. Like, because like, I think you can still, no, you can't. These feet are like stuck in there, so I guess that's why they did this additional little cut right here, so you can still, you know, rotate them. He's got a toe hinge that works not great, not as good as Shun's. I mean, I understand it's kind of due to the, you know, design, but I think they could have made that a little bit better. Maybe move the hinge like slightly forward more, I don't know. And anyway, his feet can go all the way back like that, all the way forward practically. That's really good. And last but not least, your ankle tilt. You can do it either out or in really well. So that's awesome. So yeah, the base posability is good, which is, you know, important since this guy's gonna have a bunch of frickin' armor on him. But yeah, so that's not the issue. I mean, if you want to display him like this, it's not like he'll be limited in the posing you can do. But yeah, in terms of looking like a natural human being, not quite, or maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe there's some scene in the anime, because I reread the whole manga recently. Maybe there's some scene in the anime where Aphrodite's like butt-ass naked, and that's totally how he looks. Like, I don't know. Someone inform me, maybe. Yeah, whatever. But, alright, so, how does he look with the Surplice on? Well, you're going to have to wait for that, because we're going to show the Surplice in its statue form first, so be right back. Alright, here's the Pisces Surplice, all assembled. Very shiny, just like the Andromeda cloth, as you can see. One thing I'll note, which I think I noted on Shin too, I might not have, but when you're messing with these figures, whether it be assembling the statue modes or putting the cloths on the figures themselves, be very careful, because there's a lot of tiny parts that are easy to lose. And when it came to assembling this in particular, there were a few times where, no joke, I wasn't sure if I was going to break the thing or not. Like, the skirt piece in general, like, you can see a little part of it right here on the tail. Like, there's this very tiny little slot that lets you pull the thing apart that you have to pull out. And, like, I was so scared I was just going to snap the skirt in half. But no, there's, like, just this little tiny freaking, not even the size of like okay, well, a little bit bigger than a crumb, like that you have to pull out so that way you can separate the pieces. It's so weird. That said, though, this is really good looking. It is a very well done statue mode. That said, I do wish certain pieces slotted in a bit more solidly, like here on this top fin, this little Spartan helmet part jiggles a little. Like, yeah, it's tabbed in technically, but it's a tiny bit looser than I would like. That said, though, this little part right here, like, let me turn it a little bit better for you guys so you can see it better. Like, yeah, that helps hold the fish up. It's actually in there really tight, so if you're gonna put this up to, if you're gonna be playing with this often, be wary of that. Like, that's really tight in. That might be troublesome. But yeah, no, the detail is all great. The finish on all the armor parts is really well done. I really like this. And something else too with this statue mode that's really cool that I don't think was on Shun's. They actually have a little part to store the hand guards underneath, which is pretty cool. I like that. But yeah, let's just get a bit more of some profile shots of this thing here for you guys. And you might be able to see it, you might not, but there's actually the Pisces symbol in the bottom corner right there. That's a pretty nice touch. But yeah, there is the statue mode of the Pisces Surplice. Now to take all this off and put it on the man himself. Alright, and here he is, all armored up. Pisces Aphrodite, as one of Hades' specters. And right off the bat, there were a couple reasons I chose this over the Gold Knight version. A, because the Hades arc of Knights of the Zodiac is my personal favorite arc of the whole series. And I always liked how the Surplice version of certain cloths looked over the originals. And here in figure form, this figure, all armored up and everything, is gorgeous. I love how this guy looks. Just all the colors, just the blues, the purples, the black, just they all complement each other so well. It looks so good, guy. Like, just, like, honestly, look up photos if you can. My crappy setup does not do this justice. Like, not at all. This is a beautiful figure. Just, it all works so well, aesthetics-wise. Articulation-wise, you're going to have a little bit of struggle, just like with Shun, which is to be expected. One thing I will note, though, when putting this guy together, probably the most annoying part is the helmet. I had some trouble getting that on him, which is also probably why, I mean, well, Aphrodite never wore his helmet much in the manga anyway, but, like, also, though, probably why the box advertises him just holding his helmet rather than actually wearing it. Keynote that finally got me to get it on right is make sure his sideburns here are tucked underneath, like way back, like way towards the back of his ear. But yeah, just be careful with that. So, yeah, also too, be careful when you're trying to pose him, because like, I don't know about other people, but like for me, whenever I set a figure down, like if they're in a standing pose, I tend to pull down on the legs a little bit, and that's just going to shift these bits, and then you're going to have to readjust them, and it's annoying. So, how is articulation on the full cloth form? So for the head, he can look up a little, he can look down a pretty good amount. You can still move these bits of hair, although like only a little bit, understandably. Back hair is still a separate piece you can swoosh. Also, a little detail I never noticed in the manga, he's got this little fin on his back. That's pretty dope. Anyway, you can hinge the shoulder pads, and they even come sections too, so if you want them to just look like that, or if you want the more accurate look, where he has them all like fanned out, easy stuff, do that too. Yeah. Sadly, pulling the arm straight up hindered a little bit, obviously. You can get just less than 90 now. You still get that bicep swivel, although you gotta kind of go real tight and be careful again, because these things will shift on you. You cannot do full... Well, raising his arm up, you're only going to get that much. You can't do a full 360 because unlike Shun, these shoulder pads are clipped into the chest piece here. They're not attached to his shoulder. So they're not going to rotate with it, unfortunately. You can move it back a good amount too, but you're going to have to do some finagling with that shoulder joint if you want to get his arms up any further. Hands are still on that ball hinge, not impeded there. Although again, be careful, you might accidentally pop the stuff off the joint. Elbows still work great, no issues there. Still some gapping though. Upper chest, you can bend it very slightly. Better than Shun, but like that's not saying a lot. Waist twist still works great. Now these skirt bits can move, so the front and back ones not as much, but that's kind of to be expected. But the side ones, no problem. Like, get them all the way out. So, can he still do the splits? If you angle him a little bit, if you angle him a little bit, almost full splits. So, pretty good. Going back, still about 45. Kicking forward, if you shift the belt up a little, yeah, he's not going to be doing any high kicks, sadly. You're going to get only like 45 degrees. That sucks. Double jointed knees, not hindered, well, slightly hindered because of the armor bits, but you still get almost a full curl, so that's really good. Still ugly knee joints though. You get a little bit better of a bend if you do the bottom joint first and then the top one, very slightly. And then you can still wiggle the foot around and fight your focused camera. Still have your toe hinge. You can still move the foot up pretty good amount. Back not as much because of the design of the leg armor. And then you still get a pretty good, if stiff, ankle rocker. So yeah, his posability, mainly in the arms, is where he's hindered. Like, his other stuff, like, yeah, it is hindered, but not to, like, a super huge degree. So I think it's a pretty fair trade-off, all things considered. And I understand, you know, Mythcloth is all about trying to get this gimmick where you can armor them up, like in the show. And see, like, I told you, my habit of going for the legs is getting me in trouble. See? Oh my god. Like, it's just a habit I have. But, yeah. Overall, I mean, none of the action sequences in Knights of the Zodiac are known for being, like, super, like, you wouldn't need, like, a super high kick or anything like that, although they could get pretty intense. It was mostly spamming special moves, at least in the manga. So, that you can definitely have Aphrodite here do. He's not going to be hindered in that regard. And, oh my god. Part of me wishes these had more ways to clip in these armor bits. Because, like, as you can see, I'm trying to just get him to stand. And they're fighting me. And I don't appreciate that. Can you please just stand still and not have any of your stuff fall off? Yeah. These are figures you definitely need to be careful with. But yeah, so speaking of posability, I mean, you now gotta be wondering, like, well, what accessories does he have that help out with that? Well, other than the armored fist and the unarmored fist you already saw, as well as the neutral face, we've got 4 other alternate faces. We have a eyes closed face, a smirking face, a shouting face, and a rose in the teeth face. That's pretty cool. We have, you know, the 2 alternate little sideburn pieces for Helmet Unhoned. You already saw those. We also have, you know, the statue. We saw that as well. And then we have a bunch of hands for, specifically for when he's got his surplice on. He's got 2 roses 1 black, 1 white. I believe they're called the Piranha Roses, if I remember right. Yeah. So, he has 2 wide open hands, 2 sort of like style pose, I guess like kung fu-ish hands, and then he's got like 2 sort of like gripping-ish hands, which I imagine are specifically for gripping his helmet. So, not as good of an array as Shun, but I guess that's to be expected considering the type of character that Aphrodite is. But, you know, it's enough. It's good. It'll get the job done. And I think he comes with everything he needs to, really. Maybe an effect piece would have been nice, so you could, you know, properly display some of his special attacks. But yeah, overall, no complaints about the accessories. Good stuff. Alright, so now let's do some height comparisons. This one I'm going to do with him all armored up, since with Shun I did him unarmored. It doesn't really add that much height. You can judge it for yourself. So, to the top of his head, he is about 7-ish inches. And to the very top of his helmet, you can make it 8 inches. Which would put him at about 19-ish centimeters for the top of his head. For the very top of his helmet, around 22-ish, 21. Yeah, 22. That's what it looks like to me anyway. So, alright, let's do some quick comparisons to other figures. Alright, so to start us off, I tried to get figures of various different heights for this comparison here. So, we've got the SH Figure Arts Takudo, the Dragon Stars Battle Damage Super Saiyan Goku, the Bring Arts Erdrick, and the SH Figure Arts Ron Weasley. And it is kind of amazing just how much Aphrodite towers over a lot of people, but I guess it's accurate considering how he scales up to Shun, which he'll be part of the next bit of comparison. So now let's compare him to a handful of other SH Figure Arts figures, which are the ones I imagine most people would try to pair this guy up with. I also tried to choose characters I could feasibly see him paired up with, maybe. So we've got the Dragon Shield Black Ranger, we have the Shinkocho Seiho Kamen Rider O's, we have the Mythcloth Shun, and we have the SHF Kikaider. And yeah, I think Aphrodite scales pretty well with Shun because, at least in the manga, Aphrodite did kind of tower over him. And since, you know, they decided to make Shun, I think he was, if I remember right, he was like an even 6 inches. Yeah, making Aphrodite 7 makes sense. So yeah, keep that in mind when pairing Aphrodite up with other 6-inch scale figures. That said, I don't know the official height of Aphrodite. Maybe he is just a freakishly tall dude. I don't know. But there you go. So now, the question, I don't know about on everybody's mind, but it was on my mind when I first ordered Aphrodite here. That question being, can you armor swap these two? Be right back. And the answer is not really. As you can see, there's still a bunch of spare parts lying all around. I tried to get as close as I could, but these two's body types and shapes are just way too different. Like, you can mostly get there surprisingly, but it's not a perfect fit. Like the skirt here is not, it's completely loose and jank. The leg parts are barely fitted on, you can't really tell. And you can't, because the forearms are shaped differently, you can't slide the pauldrons or greaves on there very well. Heck, even the hands actually, and this surprised me, because I figured the hands would be totally uniform. But like, as you can see, the peg holes, I don't know if you can see it very well, but the peg holes are actually totally different sizes. And so are these guys' hand pegs. They're, well, let's get a closer look. The joints are different. Yeah, so, I mean, if you're into super modification, yeah, you could totally do it, but just trying to mix and match stuff normally, probably not going to happen. I imagine there might be more success with the other bronzes. I don't know, because I don't own any other ones other than Shun, but I don't know, maybe someone can tell me about that. So yeah, I only tried to put the Pisces Surplice on Shun. I didn't try to put the Andromeda Bronze Cloth on Aphrodite, but something tells me it wouldn't go too well. So yeah, there's your answer to that. So with that out of the way, let's wrap this review up. So yeah, guys, that'll about to do it. Overall, I think this is a pretty damn good figure for what it is. My only real gripes are I kind of wish he had a hand for holding a red rose, but that's kind of a nitpick in terms of accessories. Otherwise, his accessories are pretty much perfect, and maybe an energy effect would be cool too. And then I also wish his entire head setup were way less annoying. Like Shun's, was not nearly as overdone as this one is. It's hard for me to explain. Let's just say the instructions exist for a reason, okay? But yeah, overall, I think Aphrodite here, they nailed him. I really love this character. I love this figure. And I'm probably not going to ever get the gold cloth version because this one suits my needs just fine. I think the only difference is the color of the cloth. I'm pretty sure anyway. I could be wrong, but I'll never know. But yeah, overall, I give this guy a 5 out of 6. He is damn near close to being the perfect Pisces Aphrodite action figure. So, if you love the character, or if you just love Saint Seiya or Knights of the Zodiac in general, yeah, I'd say pick him up. He's pretty expensive nowadays, though, because he was a web exclusive back when he was first released, although I think he got a re-release recently, so he might be a little cheaper. I'm not too sure about that. But yeah, that said, if you're into collecting these figures, you know how expensive they can get anyway. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll catch you for the next one. Stay tuned for poses at the end. Later.